The crowd, gathered at a distance, breaks through the police lines. Bonneau is fatally wounded. Dubois is killed. The curious ransack the Nez Rouge. The police search for incriminating evidence. They find a paper on which the dying Bonneau wrote in his own blood his last words. So much the worse for society. So much the worse for you. The two bodies are carried away amid the howls of the mob. The corpses are taken to the morgue, their accomplices rounded up, tried, convicted, and sentenced to Devil's Island.
Ils sont bien 20 dans la prison, le plus jeune des 30 disait une chanson. Les dames de la ville sont accourues au son. Ouvrez-moi donc la porte de la prison. La prison s'est ouverte, les prisonniers s'en vont. Ils s'en vont loin sur l'onde, jamais nous ne les reverrons.
But Parisians are still believers in those magical words, liberty, equality, fraternity. They can't understand why all this new progress is failing to eliminate depressions and mass poverty. Hard-working men and women who are neither anarchists nor communists complain they aren't adequately protected against industrial accidents, explosions, fire. Inevitably, they organize themselves into trade unions. As their forefathers did in 48 and 71, they hold mass demonstrations in the streets of Paris. Labor unions are finally recognized as instruments for protection and the maintenance of order. Union members move into vacant apartments with the help of their friends. They learn the wisdom of taking action and sometimes not taking action. A railway strike breaks out. Tracks are guarded by soldiers. A striker has been killed. His funeral occasions a demonstration which is given added importance by the presence of socialist leader Jaurès. In Russia, the aging Count Tolstoy is dreaming of the brotherhood of man which will guarantee peace. Others everywhere entertain the same hope. Pacifist demonstrations are constant occurrences. These people dream of happiness. They want no part of war. Other men speak a different and a terrifying language. Paul Déroulède exhorts his countrymen to think of coming battles. For 10 years in this dream, everything delays it, yet nothing interrupts it. God grant that one day a Frenchman will achieve it. As for me, I only sound the call to arms. But it is not through cowardly egotism that I withdraw my arm from the oar. 1,000 oarsmen stand ready for the task. As for me, I only sound the call to arms. Other writers express the same sentiments, but they are more serious and realistic. Maurice Barrès, standing before the Strasbourg reminder of French defeat in the Franco-Prussian War, appeals to the pride of the army. Officials and industrialists see eye to eye. Monsieur Michelin establishes a prize for the best military plane equipment. Where are the dreams of peace? An inventor, Monsieur Turpin, perfects melinite. a chemical with extremely satisfying and encouraging results. A small cannon is fired from the Eiffel Tower. Does it signal that the happy years are over? Monsieur Fallières is now in his 70s. He goes hunting at Rambouillet for the last time. At the same time, elsewhere, a less kindly man examines his gun sight. Kaiser Wilhelm also goes hunting, but he's after bigger game than Monsieur Fallières' few birds. Monsieur Fallières returns to Paris for the installation of his successor, the new president, Monsieur Poincaré. Adieu, Monsieur Fallières. Bonjour, Monsieur Poincaré. Still the symbol of a happy France, the ex-president is no longer content. I greatly fear, says he, that war will follow me in the Élysée. The times are changing. Even the weather is changing. Mr. Carnegie, back in Paris, no longer finds on the boulevards that gaiety and faith in the future which once encouraged him. He is anxious. His thoughts center on the war trends which are apparent everywhere. Riots, revolutions, minor battles, the first storm signals in Portugal. The Balkans, Greece, Turkey. The new president has less time than his predecessor for social functions. He reviews the troops. Across the frontier, Wilhelm II poses before his favorite panorama. Huge official reviews attended by all the military attachés, future enemies or future allies, still resemble peaceful parades. But those in the know suspect their Tag is approaching. The fateful summer of 1914 has overtaken Paris and the world. President Poincaré accompanies the British sovereigns leaving the Élysée after a state visit. Self-bound for Russia with President of the Council Viviani. England, Russia, and France are now allies. While Poincaré reviews troops, the tension mounts throughout the world. New recruits arrive in France. Quickly, these raw colonials are put through intensive training. Beyond the Rhine, they are playing the same dangerous game. The Crown Prince parades with the famous Death Head Hussars. On June 28th, the assassination of the Austrian Archduke at Sarajevo sets off the spark everyone has dreaded. Austria declares war on Serbia. Official visits come to an abrupt end. The Austrians anxiously await the order to attack. troops are reviewed for the last time before leaving for the front. In St. Petersburg, great crowds mass in the square before the Tsar's palace. These people, like the people everywhere, may hate war, but they have little to say in the final decision. The attention of the world is on the imperial palace. What will the Tsar do? Officials, ministers, ambassadors try to put a good face on things. They make a bad job of it. Izvolsky, the Russian ambassador, has his last meal with his family in the garden of their Paris residence. The world has only a few more moments of peace to enjoy. The sun sets for the last time on a peaceful Paris. It is the evening on which Jaurès, the socialist, will be assassinated. The morning of August 2nd, 1914, fate still seems to hesitate, and suddenly on the walls a notice. By decree of the President of the Republic, the mobilization of the armies of the land and sea is hereby ordered, as well as the requisition of animals, vehicles, and harness necessary to fit out these armies. Everywhere in Europe, at the same moment, men are on the march. The Belgians. The English. The Russians. The train which takes these Russians to the front receives a blessing. At the Gare de l'Est, the last kisses, the last efforts at laughter, the last goodbyes. Even as they say farewell to one another, they are also saying goodbye to those peaceful, those carefree years. Those happy times are over.